Leroy Ninker Saddles Up. Chapter 1. Leroy Ninker worked at the Video Drive in Theater concession stand. It was Leroy's job to put drinks and butter popcorn and smile, a very large smile. At the concession stand, Leroy Ninker said, "Thank you very much." He said, "Extra butter on that?" He also said, "GPU." Leroy Ninker said, "GPU," because Leroy Ninker had a dream. He wanted to be a cowboy. On Wednesday nights, the Video Drive-In Theater ran a Western double feature, and Leroy Ninker stood and watched in wonder as the great white expanse of the video screen filled with purple mountains, wide open plains, and cowboys. The cowboys wore ten-gallon hats. They wore boots, they carried lassos. The cowboys were men who cast long shadows and knew how to fight injustice. They were men who were never ever afraid. "GPU," Ninker whispered to the screen. "That is the life for me. A cowboy is who I was meant to be." "Who are you whispering to?" said Beatriz Lapelloni. Beatriz was the ticket seller at the BU. Once all the tickets were sold and the movie had begun, Beatriz joined Leroy Ninker in the concession stand so that she could eat popcorn and watch the movie. "I am not whispering," said Leroy Ninker very loudly. "Cowboys don't whisper." "Can I make a point?" said Beatriz Lapelloni. "Can I make a simple observation?" "Yes," said Leroy. "All these cowboys," said Beatriz, "what have they got?" "Hats," said Leroy Ninker as he stared at the screen, "and also boots." "Yep," said Beatriz. "What else?" "Lassos," said Leroy. He put his hand on his lasso. "And," said Beatriz. "Tracking abilities?" said Leroy. Beatriz heaved a heavy sigh. "I am thinking of something that you can actually see." "Something right in front of you." She paused. "Something that the cowboys are sitting on." Ninker took off his hat and scratched his head. Beatrice sighed again. "Horses, Leroy," she said. "Every cowboy needs a horse." Ninker was a small man with a big dream. He was also the kind of man who knew the truth when he heard it. Suddenly his hat and his lasso and his boot and his GPUs didn't feel like enough. Beatrice was right. How could he ever hope to be a cowboy? A real cowboy? A true cowboy without a horse? "Yep," said Beatrice. "You've got a problem. You've got to procure a horse. But don't worry, I happen to have the solution for you right here." She held up a copy of the Whisper Gazette. "Listen," she said. Beatrice adjusted her glasses. She cleared her throat. "Horses for sale." Beatrice Lapalloni read. "All but good, very exceptionally cheap." "GPU," said Leroy Ninker. He took out his wallet and counted his money. He looked at Beatrice Leapelloni. He said, "How much is very exceptionally cheap?" I guess you won't know until you ask, said Beatrice. Right, said Leroy. He counted his money again. I hope I have enough. Listen, said Beatrice. What you have to do here is to take Faye in your hands and wrestle it to the ground. Right, said Leroy. I'm going to wrestle Faye. I'm going to get a horse. There you go, said Beatrice. She tore the ad out of the paper and handed it to Leroy. GPU, said Leroy. He carefully folded the piece of paper and put it in his wallet. Don't forget to inspect the teeth, said Beatrice, and the hooves. That is what matters with horses, teeth and hooves. Teeth and hooves, said little Ninker. Exactly, said Beatrice. That night, little Ninker did not sleep well. He dreamed of horses. Especially, he dreamed of teeth and hooves. Also, he dreamed of Beatrice Leapelloni. In his dream, she kept clearing her throat and saying, "Take fate in your hands. Take fate in your hands. Take fate in your hands." "And then what?" said little Ninker in the dream. "And then," said Beatrice Leapelloni in a very solemn voice, "you must wrestle it to the ground." Chapter 2. The next morning, after breakfast, little Ninker put his hat on his head and his boots on his feet. He consulted the ad from the Whisper Gazette. He read aloud the address of the horse for sale. "Route 16, third house on the left," said little Ninker. And then he said it again. "Route 16, third house on the left," just to make sure he had it right. Nero folded the ad back up. He put it in his wallet. He adjusted his hat. He was now prepared to take fate in his hands and wrestle it to the ground. He was ready to procure a horse. Leroy set out walking. The sun was high above his head, and the sky was very blue. As Leroy walked, he imagined that he was on the tall open plain. A car drove by. "Look, Mama," a boy in the back seat of the car pointing at Leroy. "It's a very tiny cowboy." Leroy stood up straighter. "I am a cowboy on his way to procure a horse," he said. "I am a man wrestling fate to the ground." Another car drove by. Someone threw a can out the window. The can hit Leroy Ninker in the head. "Dank Nibbit," said Leroy. He stopped and took off his hat. He rubbed it at his head. "Don't get agitated," he told himself. "Just keep thinking about your horse." Little Ninker put his hat back on his head and started walking again. He thought about his horse. "I hope he's a fast horse," he thought, "and I hope that he's strong. I will call him Tornado." Leroy found this name so pleasing that he had to stop walking and hold himself very still and properly consider the glory of the word. "Tornado," Leroy whispered, and then he shouted it, "Tornado!" It was the most perfect name for a horse ever. "Tornado!" shouted Leroy Ninker again. "GPU!" The cowboy started to run. He was heading to meet the horse of his dreams. There was no time to waste. "I am on my way, Tornado," shouted little Ninker as he ran down the side of the road. By the time Leroy made it to his destination, it was late afternoon and his feet hurt. "What can I do for you?" said the woman who answered the door. "I am here about the horse," said Leroy. "You are interested in Maybelline," said the woman. "Maybelline?" said Leroy. "Follow me, Hank," said the woman. "Hank?" said Leroy. The woman walked to the back of the house. Leroy followed her. "Since you are asking," said the woman over her shoulder, "my name is Patty Lamarck. Maybelline is right over here." Patty Lamarck climbed a fence. Leroy climbed the fence too. "There she is," said Patty Lamarck. She waved her arm in the direction of a horse standing in a field. "There is Maybelline." At the sound of her name, the horse turned and came trotting toward them. She whinnied. She was a big horse, and her whinny was very loud. "Maybelline," said Patty Lamarck, "meet Hank." The horse whinnied again. She opened her mouth wide. Leroy took advantage of her mouth being open to look at her teeth. There weren't a lot of them. As far as he could tell, there were 4 in total. How many teeth was a horse supposed to have? Beatrice Lepeloni hadn't said. Little Ninker looked down at the horse hoofs. There were 4 of them too. That seemed good. "Yippee-you!" said little Ninker. The horse put her nose right up in his face. It was a large nose. There were whiskers on it, and it smelled very much like the nose of a horse. "She likes you," said Patty Lamarck. "Ain't that something? Maybelline don't like everybody. In fact, there is a whole raft of people she don't like. She's a particular horse, if you don't mind me saying so." "I don't mind you saying so," said Leroy. He put out his hand and touched the horse's nose. It was damp and velvety. Leroy felt his heart tumble and roll inside of him. Oh, to be a cowboy with a horse, to ride into the sunset, to ride into the wind, to be brave and true and cast a large, horsey shadow. "Maybelline," said Veronica. "That's her name," said Patty Lamarck. "I'll take her," said Leroy. Chapter 3. "Now Maybelline's old," said Patty Lamarck, "and I am moving, and where I am moving to, they don't take horses. My main goal here is to make sure that Maybelline goes to a home where she's loved up good through all her older, more golden years. You understand what I'm saying, Hank?" "Yippee-you," said Leroy. "I ain't looking for money is what I'm saying. I'm looking for love for Maybelline. And I am just going on my instinctuals here. But my instinctuals tell me that you are the right little fellow for this horse. So now I'm going to tell you some things about Maybelline. Listen up, Hank." "GPU," said Leroy. Patty Lamarck looked at him. She squinted. "I don't know what that means, Hank," she said. "Okay," said Leroy. "It means okay." "If okay is what you mean, Hank," said Patty Lamarck, "then just flat out say it. But be a straightforward communicator, like me." "Okay," said Leo. "Okay," said Patty Lamarck. "Here are the things about Maybelline. There are 3 items you got to remember. Item 1 is that she's the kind of horse who enjoys the heck out of a compliment. You go to talk sweet to Maybelline, understand? GPU, said Little. Itty-pitty-poo, Hank, said Barry Lamarck. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Okay, said Leroy. Here you go, said Barry Lamarck. Item 2 about Maybelline is that she is a horse who eats a lot of grub. And when I say a lot of grub, I mean something really specified. What I mean is this horse eats a lot of grub. Okay, said Leroy. He nodded a lot of grub. Item 3 is that Maybelline is the kind of horse who gets lonesome quick. What I mean by that is that she's not the kind of horse who cares to be left behind. This is the most important item, Hank. Don't leave Maybelline alone for long, or you will live to rue and regret the day. Rue and regret the day, said Leroy. Okay.
All right then, said Parry Lamarck. She's all saddled up and ready to go. Let me give you a hand here, Hank, since you are kind of a short little gentleman who looks to be in need of assistance with some of life's more overwhelming necessities. Parry Lamarck helped little Ninker up on Maybelline's back. And right away, little Ninker noticed that the world was different from the top of a horse. The colors were deeper, the sun shone brighter, the birds sang more sweetly. Also, Barry Lamarck seemed shorter and tiny bit less busy. Giddy up, said little Ninker to his horse. Nothing happened. Little Ninker slapped the reins. Giddy up, he said again. Maybelline stood without moving. Hank, said Barry Lamarck, I don't believe that you were listening to me, even one tiny bit when I listed out them 3 items. You got to listen in this world, Hank. You got to pay attention to the informational bits that people share with you. Okay, said Leo. Okay, then listen up. If I were you, I will cogitate on item 1 right about now. Do what? Said Leo. Compliment her, whispered Patty. Lamarck, give the horse some pretty words. Little Ninker looked down at Maybelline's bunny back. He counted the knobs in her spine. He tried to think of some pretty words. Did he even know? Did he even know any pretty words? Leroy thought very hard, and finally Leroy spoke. He opened his mouth and said the sweetest words he could think of. He said, "You are the most beautified horse in the whole wide green world." The horse pricked up her ears, she twitched the left ear to the right and the right ear to the left. Both ears quivered hopefully. Emboldened, Ninker leaned forward and spoke directly into the right ear. He said, "You are the sweetest blossom in springtime."